Hi folks, my name is Shawn and welcome to my page, The Business Mechanic. Now when our vehicles break down, where do we take it? We take it to our mechanic. Well, we're mowing our lawn and our lawn boy breaks down and that Briggs & Stratton is broke and we can't fix it. Who do we take it to? We take it to a mechanic. Now when your business breaks down, who are you taking your business to? Not a mechanic. A lot of times small business owners will phone a friend. They'll phone a fellow business owner. Or a lot of times they'll just go out on the internet and search for an answer. But unfortunately, a lot of those answers that you find on the internet are based off of theory and not of actuality. That's where I step in. I have 31 years of experience in the automotive industry, but as far as business as a whole, I have 27 years of leadership experience. I have ran multi-million-dollar businesses. I have had numerous employees at once. And I have taken businesses that have been in the negative and I put them into the black fast. I have always been known as the solution guy, the guy that comes in, finds the problems, creates the solution, and rights the ship. Now, I want to take those 31 years of experience and I'm tying them all into this new channel called The Business Mechanic. I'm excited about this. That I want to build this to where we have mechanics all over the United States that we can call on to help fix our business. So that is a large pipe dream. I understand that, but we all have to start somewhere. When you have the whole world at your fingertips as an audience, why not take advantage of that? So with that being said, let's jump into volume 2 here of our simple business rules. Business rule number 3. Your workflow is either making you money or stealing it. Now let's think about that for a second. What do you suppose that means? What that means is from the very root of that word flow, or the root word flow of workflow, is very important to this piece. Because if you don't have any flow whatsoever, a lot of times your business is, for all intents and purposes, is stealing from you. Now, so many cases I talk to business owners. And just for the sake of numbers, I will talk to them and they'll say, well, I had $10,000 in my bank on Monday. And when I closed business on Friday, I had $40,000 in my account. So therefore, I made $30,000. Now, my question is, did you really make $30,000? And when we start going back and looking at the week, we have found out or uncovered that they actually generated $100,000 in total business, but lost $70,000 of profit because they didn't have any workflow and their business was so discombobulated that money was just going right out the door. Be it not everything getting on the invoice, not all the hours were being accounted for, not all the products were paid for. Or in some cases, what was negotiated on the phone was not what the invoice said, and your accounting team went ahead and paid what the invoice said and didn't realize that that part had a 50% discount on it, and they just went ahead and paid the full price. Because a lot of times your vendors, when they receive full payment, they'll either apply it as a credit or they'll just be like, I guess I didn't know. I thought I gave that person a deal. So when I say workflow is either making you money or stealing it, if there is no workflow, it is very, very easily stealing from your pocket. So that's why I'm very adamant when I talk to business owners to make sure that they do not manage their business from their bank account. And that term is multifaceted. There's a myriad of different reasonings I can take towards that statement itself. But for primarily, that statement means that we change our focus depending on what our bank account says. I used to work with one business owner that as soon as the bank account was drawn down, the intensity and the micromanage increased. And it increased hand over fist. So what the crazy part was is you would go on a 2-week pay cycle. So on the first week, everybody was great. Everybody was motivated. The business owners were, patting everybody on the back, saying, great job, great job. Then we get into week 2, and the business owner would look at their bank account, and then all HE double hockey sticks would break loose. Now we would come out, I shouldn't say we, but now this person would come out and say, okay, to the person that just patted on the back last week, now they're reprimanding that same person. Okay? So now, last week, what that guy was doing or gal was doing was great. They're doing the same thing this week, but now they're not so great. That's not fair to your employees. So if you tuned into my Simple Rules Volume number 1 here from the last video, this is where the true meaning of chaos comes from. Your employees turn chaotic when your owner turns chaotic. So keep that in mind. Make sure your workflow is truly workflow. And if it's not, we need to identify where all the, hard stops are at. Okay. Simple business rule number 4. Clarity beats talent every time. Now, what do you suppose we mean by that? Talent may give you flashes of brilliance where clarity gives you repeatable performance. I have a lot of experience with this. Now, I want to talk about this very carefully, and I want to be very diligent about this because I could very quickly and inadvertently upset a certain echelon of people with this next statement. I have had some of the most talented people on paper work for me, but were some of the worst employees I ever had. Because their talent far outreached their clarity. What that kind of means is it's arrogance. It's arrogance. They feel that they had so much talent or they had so much education or whatever it may be or experience, but they didn't have any true clarity. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have a clear sense of how to use that talent, it's all for none. Just like if you were in college and you're writing a thesis or you're writing a paper and you have a 5-chapter paper, can you write chapter 1 and then chapter 4, then back to chapter 3 and then finish at chapter 2 and then come back and finally put in chapter 5? No, that's not going to be very clear. There's a lot of talent in each one of the chapters, but the clarity of the story is terrible. So therefore, nobody's going to buy it or nobody's going to read it because there's no clarity. That's why clarity will always outweigh talent. And I want to be very clear about that. No pun intended. That when you're interviewing somebody and they have tons of talent on the paper, we want to make sure that we ask them about how they manage their day. You know, what do they do as soon as they wake up? What is their agenda for the day? Now, I don't need to know their agenda piece by piece by piece. And I'm not going to sit there and manage it piece by piece by piece. I just want to know that that individual has an agenda that they follow to keep themselves on track. So therefore, now they are taking their talent, adding clarity to it to make them a very well-rounded individual. So, thanks for tuning in to Volume 2 of the Simple Business Rules. I've got a few more volumes to do because I have some other rules that I like to go by. But in closing, and I'm still working on my closing statement, but I know I want to put be kind in there because I really feel like this world needs a lot more of that. So, in closing, be kind and let's get to work. We'll talk to you all soon. We'll see you on the next volume.